about that. Okay, here's another case. One of the most classic cases in psychic research. 1901, two English school teachers visited the French palace at Versailles. There was a great big French palace that Louis XIV built to house all of the nobles in France. In fact, when he saw how much it cost to build, he burned the records so no one would know what it cost to build this giant, opulent palace. But you know, living in a big palace like that was like living in a giant fishbowl. So he built a little palace away from the big palace so he could escape and get a little privacy. Well, of course, French Revolution came along, changed everything. But the palace is now a museum. By the way, if you ever want to, I recommend you go there and visit it. Well, these two English school teachers, armed with a Baedeker's guide, was wandering through the place. Now they wanted to see the little palace, the Petit Trianon. So they wandered outside. Both ladies felt sick, like they were going to throw up. All of them got a little dizzy. Then they said all of the trees and elements in the place became two-dimensional, as if they were elements of a scene for a play. Then it got better, and they found themselves in a big garden. Brilliant walkways, and flowers, and streams, and kiosks, and fountains. And they're walking along, and then they started to see people dressed in tricorn hats and the garments of the 18th century. In fact, they even talked to them. They said, bonjour, bonjour. They looked at them. Oh yeah, okay, bonjour. And they're wandering around through this garden, and they're trying to find the Petit Trianon. This guy runs out of the woods here, all dressed in a big black slouch hat, a black cape, his face marked with pock marks. He runs past these two ladies, turns around and comes back. Now they never talk to him, but he says to them, ladies, you're going the wrong way. The Petit Trianon is over there. Which is kind of amazing because they never ask. They thanked him. He ran off and they followed it. They found the Petit Trianon. And out front was a lady painting a picture. Oh, she's a beautiful lady dressed in a historic costume. They thought there was a play or a pageant or some historic reenactment. Well, they got in and toured the Petit Trianon, as was their plan. When they came out, there was just plowed fields. The gardens had been ripped out after the French Revolution in 1782. They had been walking back in time.
Wow. Now,
both of these ladies did something that every one of you as ghost hunters should do. If you experience something, what's the first thing you ought to do? Write it down. Right. And they wrote it down separately so they wouldn't pollute one another with their own comments. And wouldn't you know it, their descriptions were the same. They actually had the same things happen. Now they investigated several times and they couldn't compare things, but years later they did find a map of that garden. Someone had saved it in an attic in Paris. They brought it out, and wouldn't you know it, that 18th century garden plan was identical to what they saw and wrote down. They wrote a book about it called An Adventure that went through 15 printings about this sighting of the events at Versailles. Bizarre, strange things happen. Most recently, a guy went in there and he decided to go down one of the hallways. He turned and he saw a French guard dressed in the styles of the guards of Louis XIV. And the guard had a musket and directed him away. Then when he looked and checked, there was nothing there. Lots and lots of sightings have taken place. As a matter of fact, we want to do a ghost hunt. Why don't we all go to Paris and check out Versailles? Now that would be a ghost hunt I'd like to go on. But retrocognition might account for a lot of things.